Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. This is around the blockchain, and we come to you Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We've broken the streak. I'm your host, DZ. We talk about your favorite topics with some of your favorite guests. Today is no exception, and if you like what the people are saying, go ahead and hit +1 in the chat, and we'll give us some points. Whoever has the most points gets to leave a parting thought at the end of the episode. And like I said, today is no different. We're going to be talking about Tesla adding Bitcoin payments again. We're talking about some record-breaking inflows and Cardano major moves. But let's check out who we have on the show today. He was given a resounding speech. People were lined up. They were cheering him on. But this was in Decentraland. We have CryptoKeeper. He was out there at the podium dropping down some knowledge jewels. And we also have MacNCheeasy. You follow him on the Twitter, and he's a little bit of a crypto philosopher. Would you say that's a fair characterization? You can so like in the last 24 hours, he had a tweet: "A life ain't a life until you live it." So you get all these like little these jewels, these gems.
Shout out Mac Miller.
And we also have CryptoJebb. CryptoJebb, after this show, is going to have a live stream at 6 p.m. where he's also going to be talking about Cardano. So you definitely want to check that out. And he'll be in H-Town. Will he buy a grill from Paul Wall? I don't know. Will maybe him and Paul Wall get in a rap battle? We don't know what's going to happen. We have one of the largest Atlanta Braves fans in the whole universe, Ben Armstrong, taking up that top left corner, man. You excited?
Well, I hope I don't have to go to Houston because I hope we win it in 5 games.
Yeah. That's a plan B. We're not talking about the guy who predicts the Bitcoin price. Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. Maybe Braves are going to sweep it in 4. I don't know. I'm born in Houston, and I'm saying this. The Braves were my nemesis. I saw a lot of Atlanta-Houston Astros games. I'm saying I was going to the Astrodome.
Wow.
When they went to the new stadium, it was called Enron Field. So that's how long ago I was going to those games. DZ's old. Like I said, I have a picture at home. It's wrinkling fast. But let's get into the market watch before we get into our topics today. It looks like it's mostly trading sideways on the Bitcoin chart. I'm trying to zoom in here. Here we go. Boom. Hopefully you didn't jump out of your chair there. Bitcoin is falling about 1%, but we're still holding 62,000. So don't hit the alarm bells just yet. Ethereum up a little bit. BNB mostly flat. Look at that. The daily and the weekly basically looking the same. Cardano whimpering in with the 5% on the week. But when you compare it to Bitcoin, maybe that's kind of a good thing. We have Solana up 33% on the week. It's really tough to beat that. And XRP hanging out in its favorite zone, the $1.10 to the $1.20 range. If we look at some of the top gainer is a secret, so I really can't tell you about it. We also have another hot coin. And then this one, it's a smaller one. Some say atom size. But yeah, we 22%, 17%, atom up about 16%. Helium, also looking good. I was going to do a high-pitched voice, then I said, you know what, probably not smart. KuCoin shares, J-Chains is probably laughing at me, but I'm up 23%, so I'm gaining Satoshis. So who's really laughing now? That's what I'll say. And look at some of these other ones. Zcash, up 20%, so cooling down a little bit. Solana, also cooling down a little bit. So it's looking pretty good. Jebb, I don't want to talk about Cardano just yet. We'll get into that later. But Bitcoin, it's down a little bit. It's bouncing off the 62. Is 62 support?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 62,000 is a massive level of support right now. And in fact, 61,000 just below it is even more important. For all of the analysts out there that look at things like the VPVR, we're finding a point of control zone right around 61,000. 61K also represents a level of support that we have set based off of a ton of different levels that we've hit. We've used $61,000 as support and resistance, and 62 over the last couple of days. 62K is the level that we're looking to hold, hopefully.
Okay, is it looking good? Is the RSI like getting scary levels, or is this, we're not too worried at the moment?
Yeah, no, I'm not worried. Look, so right now, Bitcoin, over the last 30 days, people in cryptocurrency have the attention span generously of a goldfish, because we forget that, hey, we've just rallied for 30 days. We kind of put the brakes on. We didn't even crash. Like, we've traded sideways for 10 days. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, the Bitcoin rally's over. No, we just broke all-time high. Don't worry, it's okay. So right now, Bitcoin is rallied for 30 days. It's trading sideways for 10 days. The zone that we're looking at is between 60 and 65. I think it's going to do that and stay in that zone for another 7 to 10 days or so. And then I think we're going to break all-time highs and be moving to the upside. The lowest I can see us going is maybe 53, 55. I'm not saying we're going there, but I'm just saying I don't think we're going to go below that if we do need a correction.
Okay, just the classic advice. When in doubt, zoom out. Like you said, we had a heck of a run, these last 6 weeks or so. So yeah, it's time to cool down. It's nothing wrong with hitting the brakes when you're hurtling down a hill. So yeah, we're slowing down a little bit. But let's get into our first topic here. We're going to talk about the Musk man himself. We have a little picture of him here, crossing his arms, looking, we're not going to say smug, but he kind of has the vibe like, who are you to me? But no, Ben, I'm gonna confess to you. I might buy a Tesla as my next car. Do I need to park down the street if I do that?
Yeah. Well, number one, that's going to reveal a lot to me about you as a human. And yeah, you're not that thing's not allowed on the premises.
Would you rather me get a Prius like Huddy?
A Kia. Just get a Kia.
Just get a Kia. Okay. All right.
Kia.
All right. All right. Well, the Tesla might be killed in action. I might not be able to get one of those. I don't know.
If you can't afford a Lamborghini, you might as well just get a Kia. They're all the same.
Okay, so it's not because a new Tesla would beat your Lambo. That has nothing to do with it, right?
It would beat it. It would beat it. What? It would beat it.
First 100 yards. First 100 yards.
Yeah,
baby.
first 100 yards, and then it would never see me again. So,
all right. Well, let's talk about why they're in the news a little bit. It must be real
nice driving a bumper car or a roller coaster, because that's what those things are.
Let's talk about Tesla for a little bit. They did have some record high numbers hitting. They're the stocks plump. Is jumping up. But that's not where we're talking about them. They had their quarterly report, and they dropped a little bit of a Bitcoin bombshell hidden in the language. They're basically hinting that they're going to resume the crypto payments. Exact quote was, "May in the future restart the practice of transacting in cryptocurrencies," which essentially means that they're eyeing Bitcoin for Teslas again. They famously, they stopped it. They did it for a couple months or a few months. They claimed it was energy FUD, so they stopped doing it. Clearly, they knew all the ins and outs. So it was mostly the public backlash. Perhaps they didn't expect the public backlash to be as crazy as it was. So they capitulated. They said, oh, we're no longer going to do it until 50% of renewables. But let's just say, this hypothetical future, that does happen. Now, CryptoKeeper, if Tesla were to announce, say, a month from now, a week from now, that, all right, it's back on, you can now buy a Tesla, will Bitcoin. I mean, no one thinks, long term, this is going to be parabolic for Bitcoin. But on a short-term time frame, is that going to be bullish news? Is that when is that time to open a long if you see that tweet?
I hate it, but the reality is Elon Musk does have some sway over the markets, and he knows it, right? I believe that accepting Bitcoin is all about staying relevant, right? So yes, I think short term, it definitely would have some impact on the markets. I think that as we get farther and farther away from Elon Musk, and I think that his power continues to dwindle. Okay. So as crypto becomes more and more mainstream, we've got the energy FUD campaign, which is what I like to look at it as. That's subsided. It's time for that final big push from these institutions and the whales. Ultimately, they're trying to make the retail trader one thing, and that is the professional bag holder, right? If he's accepting Bitcoin again, it's going to pump his current bags, right? So he wins whether he's collecting it off of selling cars, which, side note, a lot of people are not actually going. I highly doubt people are going to be spending Bitcoin to purchase a Tesla, or with the current prices continuing to run. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's a marketing strategy. It will work for him on both fronts. I just think that as time goes on, it gets to be a little bit less and a little bit less and a little bit less, that it will affect the market.
Yeah, I think if anyone buys it with the Bitcoin, I think that's also a marketing strategy. It's going to be a hype beast or someone with, 500,000 followers on Twitter, and they're basically going to do it for more retweets and clouts and engagement. But they had a little, it could be a little bit of that, but I'm surprised you don't actually see people mention that more, actually, like, well, what's wrong with selling if you think it's the top? I don't think it's the top right now, but if you do think, what's wrong with, buying a car, which strangely enough is an appreciating asset, contrary to my entire life. So that's always interesting.
Did you just call a car an appreciating asset?
These days, it certainly is. I mean,
right now it's crazy, but it's actually true.
For the past 10 months, I would agree with you. But as a general rule, a car is
generally terrible. Yeah, unless it's over 35 years old or something. But they had the language. It was a little bit. So they said may in the future restart the practice of transacting in crypto. Now, Austin, you're our philosopher. Did they choose this vague language on purpose to is this just a testing the waters? You think?
So if you go back to Elon's notorious tweet, and you had touched on it, he had mentioned that they would consider going back to using Bitcoin if it got over 50% renewable energy. Now, if you look at what was going on with Tesla and China at the time, there were some restrictions on Tesla, the company. And what China had was a lot of mining exposure. So there was some reasoning for Tesla, for Elon Musk to have a little bit of, some other games playing there. And I think the long-term play for him has always been to use Bitcoin, always been to kind of embrace this crypto movement, because what does having a Bitcoin ecosystem and a crypto ecosystem suggest on the United States as a whole? Well, in order for Bitcoin to excel, you probably need Bitcoin mining. In order for Bitcoin mining to excel, you need strong renewable energy, you need a sustainable grid across the country or wherever there's mining, and you also need technical workers and engineers. All three of those facets are things that help Tesla as a company. So by embracing Bitcoin, by embracing crypto, by embracing mining, it's doubling down on the foundation of what Tesla needs to succeed. If they want to do this cross the country infrastructure where you can charge your Tesla every 2 hours, whatever it may be, Bitcoin mining just helps this, and it helps with this renewable energy narrative. So I think they're intentionally vague because any absolutes just come back to haunt you. And CryptoKeeper mentioned it. They like playing these cards. They like doing these things. But the more they play these cards, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Like the less times, it's like, all right, Elon, enough is enough. At the end of the day, whatever you're going to do, and we're going to keep it moving.
Yeah. You hit a good point there. If you're not exactly doing what you exactly said, they will turn on you. They want, if one word is a little bit different. I experienced it with, shout out to Pluto Alliance. We gave 10 people $1,423 or something a coin. So I tweet out, hey, $1,500 to 10 people. The price went down. It dropped to like $1,150. And then the guy messaged me, hey, were you going to send me $350? It's like, all right, come on now. But yeah, if you don't do exactly, you will get attacked. Now, Ben, I'm going to put you in the hot seat for maybe defending Tesla here. So Tesla, they have put themselves in the camp of saying, here's the Bitcoin energy narrative. So because they have painted themselves in a corner, do you think they'll actually be one of the biggest cheerleaders of green Bitcoin mining?
Yeah, because they're trying to make money on it. Duh. That was what this whole thing was about.
All right, that was good. How you turned it around on them. I like that. I respect that. I respect that, Ben.
I will not give up the high ground to Tesla on anything. Sorry,
all right,
going to happen.
Obi-Wan over here.
Elon Musk is a douche. Tesla, the whole entire company, is a big giant fraud. Screw all of those people.
All right, well,
Elon Musk stole Tesla. He stole the whole thing. So
all right, well, they just topped $1 trillion, and today Elon became worth more than Exxon Mobil. What are your thoughts on that? This one man being worth more than Exxon Mobil?
Well, this guy hasn't actually ever created anything. All he does is steal and rip off ideas from other people and uses originally his daddy's money from, mining with slaves in order to put himself further in the world. So there's nothing good about this guy. There's never been anything good about this guy. There never will be anything good about this guy. And so, it doesn't matter how much money he's worth. Every relationship he's been in, the people come out telling nightmares about having to live with him. What more do you need to know? This is a bad person. This is a bad guy. He's a facilitator for, a lot of people that are higher up than him. He's, once again, kind of like Sam Bankman-Fried. None of this happened on accident. Elon Musk did not get to where he is by hard work and by being smart. Now, I will say he is a hard worker, but that's not how he got where he is. He was placed where he is.
All right. Well, chat was loving that, by the way. I mean, chat was like, what did DZ expect? Asking Ben to defend Tesla. So I guess I kind of walked into that one. All right, well, let's go to the next topic here. Record-breaking inflows. Now, we've brought this up before, sometimes mostly to cover like if inflows are going down. But when I say we smashed the records, I mean we smashed the records. We actually have a little graphic here, Frank, if you want to pull it up. These are the crypto asset flows for institutional money. So these are the weeks in a year. So we got, 13 weeks in, 18, 23. Look at this week right here. So we have absolutely obliterated. Now, there were times of, outflows where money was actually leaving the market, but basically this is all off the strength of the ETF. It was 1.4. It was basically $1.5 billion flowed into it with these big money management accounts. 1.5 billion flowed in. 1.2 of that was basically the ETF. It was the ProShares account. So when we have a second ETF now, CryptoKeeper, do you see that a second ETF is going to see something similar, or is the capital kind of spent now?
So I think that we need a physically backed ETF is what we really need. I think that's what's going to really bring the big money into the market. These futures ETF, it's a great thing, but again, it's more of a hype driven thing. There's definitely money coming in, no doubt, from different places, but the physically backed that's getting settled and in BTC, that is what we need. The inflows are great. They show me two things. One, Bitcoin is going to have a massive run up, and we want to be in front of that, right? The money flows in crypto start with Bitcoin and trickle down from there, right? And as I was looking at it a little bit closer, the other side of this is they're obviously trying to pad their investment portfolios as it relates to ETH. I was looking at this and I thought it was interesting. They already have a ton of ETH, right? And so there's other parts of their investment portfolio that they want to kind of diversify into. I think a lot of people were looking at this and saying, "Oh my gosh, they're selling out of ETH to get into other projects." Well, the reality is, if you look at how much ETH they have, it's not something to be scared of. They just want to be more well-rounded as it relates to those assets under management, and the amount that they're selling off versus the amount that they already hold is a big nothing burger. But yeah, we need that physically backed ETF to kind of bring that back around.
All right. So it would have to be a new type of ETF, and if it is that physically backed, we possibly will see a pump. Now, you brought up Ethereum Flows, so I mean, you actually have another little thing here that I want to show. Everything was an inflow except for Ethereum and then a multi-asset, but we're not going to count that one. But when it comes to individual coins, Ethereum was the only thing that had money leaving the market for the month. You know, they're down, a considerable amount. Meanwhile, everything else is pumping. So you are seeing this Ethereum, leaving the market. Ben, why do you think money is flowing out of Ethereum? What are your thoughts on why is it being rejected?
I think that it's just not time yet for it to run. I think that things are really, trying to line up right now. If you look at what's been happening with Ethereum over the last several months, we've been seeing, record outflows from exchanges. You also have to think about everything that's going on with ETH 2.0 as we're moving towards that. A lot of it is getting locked up. And when ETH breaks to the upside, it is going to be massive. It is going to be look, let's look at ETH's pattern throughout this entire bull run. Let's go back to November. What was ETH doing? It was sitting between $3 and in December between $300 and $600. Okay. It was not gaining much. Bitcoin was at an all-time high. ETH was at $600. The ETH all-time high was $1,400. It was less than 50% of its all-time high. It took a good month after Bitcoin hit a new all-time high for it to finally start ripping. And then it ripped all the way to $1,500 very quickly, okay? Let's go back to my famous ETH to 2,500 by Valentine's Day prediction, right? Didn't happen. Did not get to $2,500 by Valentine's Day. What happened? It went sideways for like 6 weeks. And then what happened? It ripped all the way from, $2,000 all the way up to $4,400 in like 6 weeks, okay? Ethereum has a consistent pattern of going sideways, slow, gradual movements, and then absolutely ripping. How many times during this bull run have we heard this popular idea, this narrative that Ethereum can pass Bitcoin? Very many times. When do we hear it? Only when we go through this cycle and it is on the upside. The moves are so explosive that when it happens, it makes everybody question everything in crypto and who's the top dog. We're not close to that yet. Well, I'm not going to say we're not close to it. It might happen this week. But I'm saying we haven't seen it yet in this second part of this bull run, and we're going to see it very soon, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've been sticking with that month later narrative, and I'm interested to see if it can continue to do the same. Now, I want to bring it up one more time. So, Jebb, let's just pretend, the South Korean pension fund had a thing where they're able to invest some money. I want to show the coins here real quick. Say you have $1 million and you're representing, a teachers union. You can only choose one coin. And, let's just say this is a long-term investment. what coin out of this list are you going with? I swear to God, if you say Bitcoin Cash, we're muting you. I'm just kidding. You say whatever you want. But really, though,
I'd leave the call if I thought that.
Yeah, but yeah, if you got one choice, what are you going with?
Gosh, oh man, it would have to be Bitcoin because I never think it's a good idea for someone to get into cryptocurrency, not have any investment in Bitcoin. If you're in crypto and you're not holding Bitcoin, in my humble opinion, you are making a grave mistake. But my heart, man, it really wants me to say Ethereum. And the reason that I really want to say Ethereum, even though I'm not going to, is because kind of what Ben was talking about, the next 6 months for Ethereum are going to be ridiculous. I mean, what do we have coming up in the next 6 months? Ethereum 2.0 hopefully is going to be launching. Ethereum is likely going to be following Bitcoin up to and beyond its all-time high. It normally does do that whole 1 month behind thing. We've seen that ever since 2017, 2018, when Ethereum hit all-time high a month later. And then also, frankly, there's been a lot of Ethereum ETFs proposed, and I think now that Bitcoin has seen 2 go through in a week, I don't think it's going to be too long before we see a an Ethereum futures ETF or some kind of an ETF come out for Ethereum. And when that happens, in conjunction with everything going on with the second part of this Bitcoin bull run, like Ben said, it's going to absolutely rip. It's going to absolutely explode. So I really want to say Ethereum, but the answer's got to be Bitcoin, just because that's the responsible thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're thinking of a long term, more than 5 years, more than 10 years. It's definitely the safest of those. Now, we saw some interesting choices on there, right? We saw Bitcoin Cash. We saw Litecoin, even though Jeremy Whiteman thinks Litecoin hits 1,500 easy. We are seeing these coins, these older coins, these 2017, 2018 narrative coins. Austin, these institutional investors that are investing in it, and I'm not trying to call out these coins. If you want to invest in them, that's great. Trade them, but don't hate them, don't date them. Is this people just like maybe not really in the ecosystem, don't really know, I've heard about Litecoin for years. It seems safer. Oh, Bitcoin Cash has Bitcoin in the name. I remember hearing about it years ago. Are these people just kind of going off of like, it was around long time, I'm going to go with that versus, I just can't imagine anyone investing in Bitcoin Cash versus Solana. So who are these people that are investing in these, these other coins that you typically wouldn't expect to see?
So I think there's a couple of things to consider here. One of which is you don't necessarily see the entire picture. So although they may be investing in these, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not allocating to some of these major coins. It could be a distribution across their portfolio of owning some of the top coins in crypto, so that in the event that one of them goes away, in the event that Solana has a major pitfall, in the event that Ethereum isn't the winner, they have these other side bets. Now, I want to kind of touch on what Jebb had mentioned in terms of choosing kind of which asset you would pitch on. And I think a lot of these things for institutions, it's like which asset won't get you fired. And I think a lot of jobs across the country, it's not necessarily about doing the best possible job. It's about not getting fired. You see it in sports, you see it in government, you see it across the way. And one of the things here is, if you're going to take the leap to get into crypto, the easiest and safest bet is Bitcoin. And that's the narrative that is the simplest to pitch to people. It is a store of value. It is what it is. You don't have to explain NFTs, DeFi. You don't have to do any of that. It's digital gold, and that just makes sense. And I think it's just the asset that we're going to see these inflows in, because it's just so straightforward to pitch. And when pension funds come in and somebody has to stand in front of a room of 50, 60-year-olds and explain what Bitcoin is, it's a lot easier to do that than explain that Solana has 50,000 transactions per second and that it is VC. It's just an easier thing to pitch.
Dang it, that's actually a really good answer. You're right. Yeah, a little bit of diversification, and you raise a good point with the I mean, you say Solana, your bosses have never heard about it, and then it retraces 33%, and Litecoin goes up 20%. You probably look like the biggest idiot in the room, and you're like, no, the tech's there, and they say, get out of here, Austin, you're fired. So no, it's actually that's a pretty good point. But all right, well, let's go to our last topic here. Chat, I know you're ready. Ada gang, where you at? Hit that like button.
Let's go.
We're only at 1.5 thousand likes. Let's get that way up. We're like at 10,000 watching. We get it up above 3,000. Maybe we reach 15 before the end of the episode. So smash it, hit it, and make sure you go in the description. Check out all the links for all the channels here. We have a incubator from Austin. It just started the incubator, and What's yours called again, real quick, CryptoKeeper? It's Debate Crypto.
Debate Crypto.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
we're creeping on 1,000, so we're at 902, I believe.
And
So,
like I
there you
said,
go.
Jebb's having that live stream right after this one, so maybe you just like segue over there. All right, well, let's talk about Cardano. We can't talk about Cardano without mentioning the Falconer himself. That's right, we have Charles Hoskins in here in his glory. I mean, just look at that. I would actually maybe wear
That's
that
so awesome.
jacket. I would wear that jacket unironically. I don't know if that's a Falcon specific jacket, but it's pretty cool. All right. So he's traveling Africa. He's going all over the continent. He started at the bottom. He's working his way up. He started at South Africa. He's moving up to Egypt, and he's meeting with these presidents, with these, these financial institution leaders, with these giant CEOs, representing interests in the continent. Just recently, he was with Zanzibar's president. That was yesterday. Today, he's in Burundi to meet their president. I don't even want to try to say their names. I'll say it. I'll try it. You probably get a kick out of it. Zanzibar was Mwinyi, and Burundi, it was, all right, it starts with N, followed by the letter D. Nadea Shemiye. So I'm not trying to pick fun of those names. I'm just having trouble. Yeah, he's been to South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia. And we know he's been working, around Cardano, within Africa, trying to get, the ID function going. We could talk about that. But first, Ada Gang, they're wondering about the price. They're saying we're $2. When are we hitting $3? Now, Jebb, I know you got that Cardano video right after this. Hopefully the Ada Gang comes and joins you. What are these large time frames telling you? I mean, do you smell $3 on the horizon? I mean, what's going on with Cardano's price?
I do smell $3 on the horizon. Give me 1 second here. I'll go ahead and switch over to my screen, and I will show you guys. Can you see my screen?
Ooh, I see. Yeah, I see
it?
that pennant. I see it.
Sweet. All right. So let's talk about ADA. We're looking at Cardano over the US dollars right now. And the thing that you need to know is that ADA is in this really, really tight consolidation pattern. I'm going to try and make this really simple so you guys can follow along easily. This right here basically just means that Cardano is coiling up like a spring, right? It's getting really, really tight. In this time, we've seen the volume decline quite a bit. This line right here moving through the volume bars down here shows us that the trading volume has gone down. That means that the amount of people that are trading Cardano has moved to the downside. And we can also look at something called the Bollinger Bands here and see that it's lost a lot of its volatility. All of those things are actually very, very common whenever you're seeing a market move into a consolidation pattern like this. But what normally happens when you see a market lose its volatility like this is, well, eventually the volatility has to come back. And I think that what we're going to see happen is we're either going to see a major break to the upside on Cardano over the next couple of days, or on the flip side, we could see a pretty big drop to the downside, retest $2 and bounce and rally. But either way, I think moving on into November, we're going to see Cardano moving back up towards about $2.45, maybe all the way up to $2.80. And a lot of people are concerned, saying, hey, Cardano's trading sideways. Is that a bad thing? No, I'd actually say that's a very good thing. Cardano, similarly to Ethereum, has this track record of trading sideways for months on end, and then it builds a ton of strong support, foundational support that it builds off of when it goes to new all-time highs. So that's what Cardano is doing right now. Earlier this year, it built strong support around $1. Right now, it's building strong support around $2. It's going to use that to break up towards a new all-time high, which I think will be between $3.50 to $4 by the end of the year. Be looking for some increased volatility coming in on Cardano over the next few weeks. It might take a little while, but I think that tour that Charles is having around the country is definitely going to help in that regard.
All right, you get me excited, and he raised a good point. The longer it goes sideways, typically the harder it will pop. So it's called a Bollinger. Yep. There's different names, but yeah, so it's looking exciting. Now, that's great. That's the great TA there, great technical analysis. Let's do a little fundamental analysis, CryptoKeeper here. A lot of this, I feel, and maybe you disagree, that is going to depend on Ethiopia's rollout of their school record system. It was supposed to be Q3, then it was going to be Q4. Now it's looking like it's early 2022, maybe January, maybe February. We don't know. It keeps getting pushed back. If the rollout of the Ethiopian school ID system, isn't a smashing success, I mean, is Cardano's price really hinging upon that, once we take away the technical? Is it all kind of boiling down to Ethiopia here?
I don't know that I'd say it's all boiling down to Ethiopia. Let me step it back for just a second with this. So with Cardano, I think that as an overall point of view, they are going for basically proof of concept. Now, some people might not like what I'm about to say, but I think this is what it is. When you're talking about like all of these different areas, they are like third world type economies, right? They're places that don't already have a bustling infrastructure. So if you go there, you have an exponentially easier time kind of breaking in and make massive changes to drive towards a newer, better future. So they essentially are going to be able to bring that outlook, like a better outlook, to all of these different areas that currently don't have that. So and as the economy just isn't where, you know, a lot of these economies are where they want to be, they're just not going to get much pushback, right? So it's better for everyone involved. So they make it happen. But my real question is, because you always hear blockchain innovation. My real question is this going to be Cardano specific? So what I'm saying is, you see Charles being philanthropic, right? He's always, you know, trying to change the world. But is he actually going to use his own network? Is he actually going to use the Cardano network? Every time I see him, he's wearing, by the way, what he had on earlier is a dashiki, I believe. He's always wearing a dashiki. So yeah, he's out to save the world, or at least the continent of Africa, as that public figurehead. And I think he's going to use that platform to continue to press forward into other countries of the world, but he has to start with that kind of proof of concept. So to finally to answer your question in a long way, I think that the Ethiopia thing is going to be very important, because it is kind of a newsworthy item that, you know, that's in the news right now. But I think as a whole, he is trying to just break through for this whole continent, press until he can go elsewhere and be able to help change things, you know, elsewhere.
All right. Follow-up question, yes or no? No elaboration here. If the rollout happens during the bear market, will it matter?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
I think it'll just whimper. All right, Ben, I'm gonna bring up the Musk man again. So, you know, I had to bring it to you here. So we have all these leaders of these projects. I mean, Elon Musk, he's the unofficial leader of Doge. We have Vitalik and Ethereum. We have, you know, some would say Justin, you know, still helping out Tron there. Oh, Richard Hart, you know, a lot of these people you've met and talked to, you know. But then we have Charles Hoskinson. Would you say he's the undisputed top leader when it comes to, you know, this is what the founder of a coin should act like? Is he the number one guy to emulate?
I'm going to say no, because I think he's very eccentric, and I think that he there's a lot of stuff that he does right. But you know, he is eccentric. I mean, I think he has a very specific leadership style. I don't think that works for everybody. So I don't think people should certainly try to emulate Charles. But you know, he's very authentic and transparent. And those are two things that I value tremendously. So that's one reason why I really like him. I think you can believe everything that comes out of his mouth. Now, that doesn't mean when he's saying, like, you know, a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, he said, hey, by, you know, fall of next year, we'll have everything rolled out, and it didn't happen. But that's not because he was trying to give people false expectations of something that wasn't going to happen. He really believed that it was going to happen. And so I think that when you do look at what he's doing with Cardano, he does have big vision for what he wants to achieve. And I think Vitalik, I think Charles, I think that I'm trying to think of some other people that I really like, that I would say are favorable. It's hard to find, honestly.
It's hard to find people who aren't controversial.
Yeah, I mean, those are really the two that I look at. I mean, I don't really like Gavin Wood. I mean, you know, obviously Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of a centralized company in Ripple Labs. You look at Solana, Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him, which actually would be quite far.
Yeah.
You look at CZ and Binance Coin. You look, well, you know, if I could really get him by the hair, I mean, my gosh, no telling how far I could fling him. But CZ from Binance, you know, I like CZ personally. I like a lot of stuff about him, but, you know, certainly there's a lot of issues there. And you start going down the list and you're like, you know, Sergey from Chainlink, maybe Sergey Nazarov. He's certainly a good one. Charlie Lee from Litecoin. He sold all of his Litecoin at the top of the market and dumped on everybody. So I don't think, you know, people would look there. You look at Sandeep from Polygon. He's pretty decent. I don't mind him. Jack Liu from VeChain. You go to Stellar with Jed McCaleb. My God, no. He's about as bad as Elon Musk. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I think when you really start going down the list and you really start looking, I mean, I would definitely say Vitalik and Charles are there at the top.
All right, yeah, and I actually kind of forgot about CZ with BNB because I think of him with Binance, not so much BNB. But yeah, probably not a bad example too, because he kind of started super decentralized and then kind of now just has to play by the rules so he can keep operating his platform in these countries. And I don't think anyone faults him for that. Now, so pretty good choices there. Now, Austin, would you say that? Let's talk about that a little bit. You know, because Charles does have influence over Cardano. Some would say this is making it centralized. But, some would also argue, a Richard Hart argument is centralization is good for crypto. People just don't understand that. Now, is Charles kind of the X factor for Cardano? Do you see that little bit of centralization that does exist in Cardano working for its favor or working against it?
I think right now it is working for its favor. I mean, what are they, the fifth by total market cap in terms of coins? Like, it could be doing a lot worse in terms of the actual value. But I look at Charles a lot like Elon Musk in a sense that Tesla, I know whatever you think of Tesla, they kind of are faking it until they hopefully make it. And I think Charles is kind of doing a similar type of approach. A lot of marketing, a lot of kind of hoping that these things are going to eventually be able to deliver. And what I would say is for the Ethiopian, like that delivering, if that's in the bear market, it has less of an impact. So I will say it is good until it no longer carries any weight. I think it's needed. They need a product. They need to start having people use it. It needs to get adoption. And at that point, a central figure, I think it'll slowly become more and more decentralized. I think in a sense, we're kind of seeing that with Vitalik and Ethereum. I think as Cardano, if it becomes more and more established, this won't be the worst thing ever, and it'll kind of grow beyond him. But when you're starting off a project, you kind of need these people, especially when you're trying to have these partnerships, you're trying to grow, you're trying to work with other companies, coins, Chainlink, like all these different things. You need a central figurehead to have those conversations. So I don't think it's the worst, but I do think they need to start delivering and they need to start having more and more adoption so that they can actually survive the bear market.
All right. Real quick, yes or no, Austin, are we hitting $5 this bull run with Cardano?
I think so.
All right, Jebb, they're going to have to wait and watch your 6 p.m. video that is on CryptoJebb's channel.
I'm going to do it in that video. It's true.
All right. So we're going to hold that from you on purpose. You got to go check them out. CryptoKeeper, yay or nay, $5.
Yes.
All right. And Ben, I already know where you're going to land on this one. It's creeping like a shark. It's about to come up. What does Jaws say?
Dun, 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 dun,
yes.
Dun, dun, dun,
yes.
Dun, dun,
all right.
dun,
No surprise there. All right. And that's all we got time for. Real quick chat. Wavy80 saying Vitalik is the GOAT. And I want to address Bovie Music. Undefeated Ben Clickbait Armstrong plus $1 million. I chose the title. All right. I am the clickbait. Get mad at me. Don't get mad at Ben. And Cardano founder makes outstanding moves. Bullish moves from fourth largest crypto. That is a good thing. And that's not clickbaity. Okay. I've made much worse. That's not even that bad. So calm down. Look, we got to get eyeballs in here. Do you want eyeballs? Do you want your Bitcoin to go up? Well, the more outlandish the title, more people are going to watch. So don't hate.
Easy, what's your balls?
Appreciate.
Yeah. Appreciate. Don't hate. All right. Well, that's all we got time for. It looks like our resident philosopher, Mr. Socrates himself, MacNCheeasy, stole it from Ben.
I was waiting the whole time.
Yeah, he got you. You know what it was? It was that bullish Cardano outlook. So we're gonna go ahead and give you the parting thoughts, man. Tell us what the people like to hear.
All right, we're gonna keep it on the philosophy here. So the best thing that you can invest in is learning and yourself. And Jebb talks about it all the time on his channel, Debate Crypto. You talk about it here on this channel, but we're all about learning and improving as individuals and getting an understanding of the crypto space. And that's the most important thing. And you're doing the right thing by watching this channel and by watching all of these other creators on this panel. So smash the like button. And if you don't already, check the links in the description. Subscribe to their channels. They're awesome. Subscribe to the incubator. We talk about philosophy things, but let's keep it moving, people.
Ada gang, smash the like. That's all we got time for. Until next time, BitSquad, Deezy out. Smash it.